What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another whiskey review. I am Eric, and we're going to do some bourbon. It's been a while, so Jefferson's very small batch. This will be the bourbon we're checking out today, as usual. Nose, taste, finish review. I'll talk about the value, give you my final thoughts on the score, leave you with the malt music. So, first things first, Jefferson's. Jefferson's is actually bottled by Kentucky Artisan Distillery, which is in Crestwood, Kentucky. Jefferson's is the biggest, I think, brand that they make, but they got a couple other bourbons they do. Whiskey Row, I think there's one called like Billy Goat Strut, North American Whiskey. A couple other kind of smaller ones that a lot of folks might not be familiar with, but Jefferson's is definitely the biggest brand they do. And so this very small batch of theirs, this is actually their kind of introductory release bourbon. So we're going to check this out. So the one I actually have is a store pick. This is from Wegmans, which is a grocery chain here on the East Coast of the United States. So it says here on the bottle, yeah, this was bottled exclusively for them. So this may be a slight variation from the regular release, but I can't imagine it'll be too much different. Okay, so here's what we said. This is bottled at 41.15% alcohol by volume. So that's kind of an interesting ABV. It says very small batches, a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys. Nothing on the back except picture of Jefferson coming through the glass here. You can see it right here in the back. So on the tag, let's take a look what else it says here about this. This ridiculously small batch bourbon has been aged in barrels with a very light char, allowing a myriad of secondary flavors to express themselves, resulting in an approachable, smooth bourbon. It's layered but easy drinking with a finish that allows the flavors to come to the forefront. Jefferson's is smooth and light with hints of complexity that keep it interesting. Okay, so they got a little bit more info on Jefferson's. I actually did a review a while back of Jefferson's Ocean Aged at Sea. Definitely encourage you all to look back in the archives and check that out. But let's get into it with this Jefferson's very small batch. So while it doesn't have a ton of information, I was able to look up online, and they do say it's bourbon. It's 4 different bourbon recipes that are in this, and they range anywhere from 8 to 12 years old. So that's kind of the blend we're looking at here. Look, there's the color. Oh, kind of a nice color. It's kind of a bright, kind of a gold. This is very gold colored, so it's a little bit on the lighter side. I'm getting some legs on it too. They're moving pretty quick. All right. So on the nose, sweet, vanilla, corn, like really strong corn. It doesn't say what the mash bill is, you know, of all 4 of these whiskeys that are in it, but it's probably a high corn mash bill. So yeah, corn, vanilla. There's a little bit of an oak. Maybe a little bit of a fruit in the back. Dark fruit of some sort. I can't really quite tell. It's not apples. Maybe. I can't tell. There's a little bit of a dark fruit note, but it's kind of hard to define. It's not a ton happening on the nose, but it seems pleasant enough. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. So the palate are right away sweet. That corn sweetness, but then it goes right into kind of an astringent, an oakiness, a little peppery almost. Honey. That fruit note's not really there anymore. Vanilla, honey, sweet. And then there's just kind of a astringency. Maybe it's a little bit of an alcohol astringency. It's almost a little bit tangy sourness almost, but not enough to actually give it a specific note. So going into the finish, pretty short. There's a little bit of a honey, little grassy note, a little bit of vanilla. This one kind of tapers off real fast. Not much left. There's maybe a hint of a cocoa note as well. So this is bottled at 41.15%. Let's put a little bit of water to see what happens. It's a little higher than the legal minimum, but not much higher. So on the nose now, with the addition of water, again, it's like a honey sweet, really sweet corn. It's not cloying sweet, so at least it's got that going for it, but there's not much else other than the sweetness. A little bit of a tart apple, it's hard to tell. With the water, there's, okay, I'm starting to get a little bit of a cinnamon note now. It's really tasty. Okay. So with the addition of water, that kind of astringency that I mentioned takes a little bit of a backseat. And now, cinnamon sugar, apple, starting to come out quite a bit on the palate. So vanilla sweetness is there, the honey is there. But yeah, you get the introduction of a more of an apple cinnamon type thing going on, which is quite pleasant. So the water, I think, might have helped us on the palate. As far as the finish goes, though, it's tapered off again pretty fast. Nothing really notable. A little oaky, a little bit of that vanilla, a little bit of that cocoa. That's about it. All right. Okay. So that's that. Here's one more look. Jefferson's, very small batch. As I said, this is a store pick. They do have a cool bottle presentation. I really like it. They all come in these kind of bottles like this. So it's got a unique look to it as far as its presentation goes. Final thoughts here. You know, this is their introductory whiskey in their range, and honestly, it shows. The value, this is in that $30 to $40 range. So, you know, comparing that to things and other things you can get in that range, Four Roses small batch comes to mind. Yeah, I have a hard time saying that this one is a great one for the price. It just kind of underwhelms. It's nothing to write home about. So, you know, it's not a bad whiskey by any sense, but this isn't something that I would say, you know, rush out and buy, or even, you know, if you see it at the bar, this is not a must try. I think this is just kind of a standard bourbon. You know, unfortunately at that 41.15% ABV, hesitant to say this would even be a really good in a cocktail or anything. I think this one is kind of an easygoing sipper, but, you know, somewhat unremarkable at that. Okay. So 2.5 out of 5 is going to be my score on this, which is definitely try before you buy it. Maybe what you've heard in this review, you know, speaks to you about what you like in bourbon, and this sounds like it's right up your alley, but I can't recommend picking up a bottle, even at the, you know, relatively decent price, considering some of the other options out there that I think are just far superior bourbons. Elijah Craig small batch, Four Roses small batch, 2 examples. Heck, maybe even Buffalo Trace. I just think 30, 35 bucks is a little bit much for this. All right, y'all. So there's your review of Jefferson's very small batch. Hit the subscribe button if you've yet to, and we'll catch you next time here in Rabbit and Reviews. And here's your malt music. Cheers, y'all.